Okay, we are live. Hello, Arya Vedabrata. Should I address you as sir? I'm
No, not required. Just Arya. Arya is
okay.
fine.
Okay.
No need to
So
use the last.
yeah. So thank you so much for coming to my live session and accepting my request. Uh, so today we have Mr. Arya, who is a co-founder of uh, ByteIQ Analytics and Mindgraph. So I'm really honored to have you with us. So would you like to tell us more about yourself before we start and jump on to our main topic, which is data science?
Thank you, NIRAL. Thanks for inviting me to this live session. I think this is the first kind of session I'm experiencing. I hope I do justice to your effort, justice to your sessions. About me, I have around 20 years of experience in the space of data. Fortunately, I started my career in the world of data back in 2003. And those days we were building data warehouse in mainframe world. And my first project was all about building data marts for mortgage business of a bank and building analytics on top of it. The tool which I was extensively using was SAS,
Okay.
statistical analysis software. And because of my experience in SAS, I was considered as a person who could get into the world of analytics. And my real venture into the world of analytics was through Citibank when I joined the risk analytics function. And after Citibank, I joined Bank of America to set up their first data science function in India
Wow.
way back in 2008 when data science was completely a new term for the industry.
Yeah.
But accidentally it happened. But I think that accident was a lucky accident for me. Because of that accident, I got to know about what data science is, and not only just data science. The team was so different. The team was thriving on innovation. So that team was not aligned to any business line. Normally, what happens in banks or any organization for that matter, when you have an analytics team, technology team, they're typically aligned to some business line,
Yeah.
and that line will fund that particular team to
Yeah.
operate. But this unit did not have any line of reporting into any business, and the mandate for this team was to innovate from data which Bank of America has housed, come out with something which business will be willing to pay for.
Okay.
So that was continuously asking the team to innovate. So my experience of that team actually helped me to think out of the box, think how we can monetize data better, because that is how we survived in that team. So that stint in Bank of America, 5 years working in that space, actually helped me a lot. It actually created a new dimension, gave me a new lens through which I started looking at data. So which I carried forward to Goldman Sachs, where I was responsible for setting up audit analytics practice. In those
Okay.
days, analytics practice for audit was also a new thing. Not
Yeah.
many. Forget about not many. Maybe Goldman Sachs was the only organization in the financial domain to think about setting up an analytics function to support their audit
Yeah.
processes. After that, I joined JP Morgan Chase, where I was given the responsibility to set up a risk analytics function for their auto loan business. After that, I had a brief stint with DBS Bank. It's a boutique bank in Singapore.
Wow.
I was given the responsibility to build analytics center of excellence in Hyderabad, which was their new center at that point of time. And my last stint in the corporate world was with Qualcomm, where I started with cybersecurity data science. I set up data science function in cybersecurity. And later it became an enterprise-wide function where we started supporting HR, procurement, and other functions.
Hmm.
So that's about my corporate journey. And in ByteIQ, I think we are doing some fabulous work. For last 2.5 years, I have been associated with ByteIQ on a day-to-day basis. Before that, it was more around trying to come out with what all business models we can focus on, how to take this organization forward, what should be our vision, mission, and goal. So basically, creating the all the groundwork so that we can take off. But last 2.5 years has been where we have put together all our efforts to build products, build solutions, generate interesting analytics from all our client engagements and from all our data endeavor. So that's what has been working well so far. We are currently around I can say 30 plus people across data streams, data engineering, data science, data analytics. Even we have recently started getting into data governance, which is a big thing in the space of data, with so many organizations having accumulated so much of data. On one hand, they're trying to see what all values they can generate, because data is an asset, so they want to generate values. But on the other hand, data is also liability, because it's your responsibility to ensure that data is well protected. It is your responsibility to ensure that you are on the right side of the law when you are using data. So that liability thing mostly organizations forget because they are more worried about the asset side. But now organizations have started realizing that they have to manage liability really well. Otherwise, it could be a big penalty in future, which could undermine all their efforts on data. So data governance is the thing through which you can keep a tab on how your data is being used, or is being used appropriately. So that is something we have started working on. So overall, it has been a very nice, enriching learning journey for all of us, including me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
you really had such a, like, I didn't know that you had so much of experience, honestly. I did go through your LinkedIn, but couldn't gather so much of data. Like, really amazing. I mean, and then you finally started your own company, ByteIQ. So hope that's going great, and I'm really looking forward to get some good responses in the Google form that we'll be releasing today. Let's see. So yeah, like, you have used data science in cybersecurity as well as finances. So let's discuss about the data science use cases initially. Okay, so like, what are the data science use cases in the customer domain? Firstly.
Yeah, okay. So customer domain is one area where most of the companies are focused on when it comes to data and analytics efforts. But what we do differently is we try to consider customer as an entity. Okay. So normally, what companies do is that they just get into the data, the use case is served on the table, and they start to look at the data using the use case at their hand. But what has been our approach is first, let's understand that entity customer. And in order to understand the entity customer, we have to understand what is the life cycle of an entity. What is the life cycle of a customer? If you look at the data world in today's context, the data is highly dispersed. Data is all siloed. If I take one customer journey in an organization, let me take one simple example of a passenger. Passenger is a customer for an airlines company.
Yes.
And if I have to look at the passenger journey in the company, then it starts with passenger booking a ticket, okay, for his upcoming trip. Then the passenger might have some questions, might have some concerns, might have a plan to reschedule his travel plan. So he might reach out to the travel desk to see how he can make changes. That's like, let's say, phase two. Phase three is the day on which the person is traveling. He will he will go into the airport, go to the boarding pass counter, issue the boarding pass, walk through the security gate, board the flight. That's third or fourth phase would be the flight journey he's going through. So during the flight, what all things he's buying, what was his overall experience of the flight, did the flight start on time, did the flight land on time? That experience is one aspect of his journey. That's a fourth phase. Fifth phase is when he's coming out of the aircraft, collecting his baggage. Maybe today baggage got delivered delayed, or baggage was available on time. Yeah, he just within 2 minutes he collected his baggage, walk out of the airport. That, let's say, that's phase five. Phase six could be, yeah, he's out of the airport and he goes to his Instagram, to his Twitter account or to his Facebook account, and started posting about his experience of that journey.
Yeah.
So if I look at this journey of the passenger, or the customer in case of airlines company. So each phase, if you look at, is generating data. So customer is leaving behind data footprint in each of these phases.
Yes.
And all these data is getting captured in various kind of databases.
True.
But if you ask me, all these databases are in different areas, in different regions, in different domains.
Yeah.
The passenger booking data could be in a very different database, let's say Oracle, while passenger baggage collection data could be in let's say Amazon RDS. So that's the reality of the world. Every data of an entity is being stored in different places. And that becomes a challenge. When I want to understand this customer holistically, I need to tie all this data together.
Yeah.
And if I am trying to do, it's very difficult because this data is present in multiple systems. How do I bring everything together?
Yeah.
Can I bring everything together on a real-time basis? It may not be possible with so much of technical complexities associated with such kind of effort. It may not be possible. So how do we bring all this data together, put it in a warehouse, put it in a data mart, so that I can get the customer 360, the comprehensive view of the customer, the entire life cycle of the customer, all his journeys. If I can have it one place and that place is my customer 360, then I can generate a lot of interesting analytics. So that is what we strive to do in all our engagements. Wherever there is an opportunity to do customer analytics, we try to understand the entity lifecycle or the customer lifecycle, then bring all those data footprint of customer together onto one map, create a customer 360, and then build analytics on top of it.
Okay.
So if I have to talk about that specific customer journey, the passenger journey through an airlines, now imagine if this database is growing. Obviously, this database will grow with so many passengers coming or using the aircraft or using the airlines. This data is supposed to grow. Now, if I want to, from customer perspective, if I'm the airlines owner and I ask a question, is there a way to increase revenue from the customer who is trying to book a ticket next? If a customer has come onto the platform to book a ticket, is there a possibility to increase my revenue with that customer? Okay, the most likely answer would be maybe to some extent. But if my question is, I want to increase the revenue by 20%, 30% in his next journey with my airlines. Is it possible? And most of the people will say it's not possible. But if they ask customer 360, because customer 360 is like, since I have got everything together, it is like a crystal ball for me. I can ask that question. Okay, now I ask crystal ball, can I increase the revenue with this guy by 30%? The crystal ball will never say no, it's possible. It will say it is possible. And how it is possible? Now, crystal ball will try to understand what has been the pattern of some of the customers. If I'm a customer and my pattern is every month I travel to Malaysia. Every month I travel to Malaysia once, maybe Singapore once. Because of my business need, I travel. And every time I book a flight to Malaysia or Singapore, I don't care about the ticket price. Okay. I am a good spender. I don't care. I don't look for the low cost ticket. I just go by whatever is available on the site. So that way I'm a good spender. And if my social media post, because I travel and go back and feed a lot of inputs in Instagram or in various kind of social media, then I'm quite active in social media. Okay, so and that kind of person will be always ready to post photos of his trip to Singapore or his trip to Malaysia. So that way, the crystal ball is knowing that this guy is a good spender. This guy has a pattern of traveling to these two locations and is quite active in social media. So this guy can be given a proposal to travel to a place, let's say Hanoi, which is very close by to Malaysia or Singapore, and he has never traveled in his last 2 or 3 years of his journey with us. Okay, and if that is what has happened, and my crystal ball is able to capture, because it will be able to capture because all my data footprint is there. It captures everything and tells me or tells the airlines companies in the next time when this person is booking a ticket, just give him a proposal that why don't you spend 10,000 and cover Hanoi in your next trip. I spend 20,000 in my trip or 20-30,000 every time I go to Malaysia. Now I'm getting an option, spend 10 more thousand, cover Hanoi, which is like 20%, 30% more revenue for the airlines. Most likely I would opt for it because I don't care about 10,000 rupees and I have never seen Hanoi. It's a blind spot for me when it comes to my travel plans. Why not? Let me go there. And they're saying that my plan will still remain the same. The day on which I wanted to land in Malaysia, I will land on that date. but they will ensure that I spend 1 or 2 days in Hanoi. So that's an example of customer analytics. But the core thing here is how do we organize data, build a customer 360, and then build all these kind of algorithms and analytics,
Yeah.
so that company can get benefited.
Okay, so like this covered everything. Like you gave a good airport example for us to understand that how the data analytics works here. So, like what you even talked about that you worked in auditing part as well, like auditing analysis or something. So, like, can you talk more about that? Like,
Okay.
how is it
In-
used in that industry? Like, how data
Okay.
science is used?
Okay. So audit is the third line of defense in an organization. If you look at any organization, there are three lines of defense. Line one is basically employees in the organization. Okay, they are expected. When I say defense, it means those lines have been created to help organization manage risk.
Yeah.
Every organization is dealing with risk. Okay, on one side they are making revenue, but on the other side there is risk which organization has to deal with, and these line of defenses are with respect to risk. So when it comes to risk, audit is the third line of defense. Their job is to ensure that organization is able to manage and mitigate risk that they are dealing with. Okay, they may be focused on revenue, they may be doing really well as an organization, the revenue is growing big time. Audit doesn't care.
Okay.
Audit point is you may grow exponentially, you may grow 5x every year, but my worry is, are you taking extraordinary risk, which is putting the organization in a position which could crumble the organization altogether.
Yeah.
Okay, so audit is third line of defense. First line of defense is basically the employees on the ground. So if I am an employee, it is my responsibility to ensure that I am not doing anything which will put company at stake, at risk.
Yes.
Okay, the second line of defense is compliance, risk. Okay, they are expected to take care of the risk.
Okay.
Okay, and the third line of defense is audit.
Okay.
Okay, as give me a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, some distraction.
No problem.
Okay. So audit is the last line of defense, and their job is to ensure that if some gap has not been identified by the first line of defense or second line of defense, they step in and they ensure that those gaps are plugged.
Okay.
Okay. So I will give one example of analytics in the world of audit. Audit, what happens? I think technology people will understand it better. Every application, when it is released for usage, might have, or not might have, it will result in incidents, failures.
Yes.
Application might go down someday. There will be some glitch which will bring down the application. Application might slow down. So all these kind of issues might happen with any application that is launched, that is deployed for people to use. And all these issues or incidents are logged in the system, because these incidents can have serious repercussion for the organization. The application going down, if I remember, HDFC Bank online banking was down for such a long time, and it was in the media.
Yeah.
Okay, that you can consider could be the biggest technology application incident of the entire Indian banking system. The way it was going down for such a long period, I think no other bank has seen. You can understand what kind of pressure the HDFC Bank management would have gone through during that phase.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the incidents which get reported to the senior most. In case of HDFC Bank, that was getting reported to RBI, because RBI is the regulator. So every technology or every organization has to ensure that some of the significant incidents with respect to their technology applications are reported to the technology executive committee, so that they review the incident, why it happened, what was the real impact of it, did it affect revenue, did it affect customer experience. So depending on the category of impact, they classify that incident. It could be severity 1, it could be severity 2, or severity 3. So severity 1 are basically those incidents which executive committee is going to fully focus on. People who are responsible for that application, people who are responsible for that incident, they will be called to check why it happened. It could also lead to people getting fired from their job.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
it could be so serious, those
Yes.
incidents. Okay, so as auditors, so this happens in the technology space. So
Hmm.
incidents happening and then getting reported, then technology executive committee coming in, reviewing the incident and taking action. As auditor, as audit group, it becomes the responsibility of us to ensure that everything, whatever process is there to take care of such incidents, are really working.
Yeah.
As auditor, how do I know that the incident which was reported to the executive committee as severity 2 or severity 3 is not actually a severity 1 incident? Some may want to downplay the impact of the incident just to escape the radar. Some may
Hmm.
downplay, no, this incident did not have that kind of impact that it should be part of severity 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so as auditor, our responsibility is to see that everything is rule based, everything is working as per the expectation. So that's where we came out with a solution that can we not take these incidents data and build a predictive model which will tell what should be the severity of an incident. When an incident is happening, all the metrics or all the data that is getting captured with respect to that incident,
Yeah.
if we can take those incidents and then build a model which can tell, yeah, based on all these data values, these metrics, this incident is most likely going to be should be severity 1.
Yeah.
And that was our first successful use case of machine learning way back in 2014. That's when we did this model development,
Okay.
where we took all the incidents that were reported in the past as severity 1, severity 2, severity 3, all the parameters, features of all the incidents that were logged in the system. We trained the model, and fortunately, we identified just 2 or 3 incidents which were misclassified. Our model was throwing that they should have been severity 1, but
Hmm.
they were classified as severity 2. And when we go to the executive committee and tell that these are the incidents where risk has been suppressed, we
Hmm.
need to we need to have enough evidence why we are saying these are severity 1.
Yeah.
So that's where the explainability comes into picture. In black box model, you can predict something really well, but you cannot explain it. How do I explain? Because it's a black box. I don't know on what basis the model has given, but
Yeah.
model has given good output. So we had to look at the explainability. We went down to the details and we understood that similar kind of explanation given for the incident, text data and other fact parameters, non-textual data together. We saw that in some of the past incidents, which were very close to that, if manually we check all the values, we see that all those values are very close to the one which we are now investigating,
Yeah.
but they were classified as severity 1 by some departments, but this has been classified as severity 2. So we see that there is some inconsistency in the way people classified incidents, so which we reported. We took the explanation also to them. It's not just model output. This is the reason why we are saying it should have been severity 1. And it went to a level where it was discussed with the team on what basis you classified it severity, because it's a forensic
Yeah.
study. It has happened in the past. Auditors have come in and they are reviewing everything and they are trying to understand what has happened in the past was right or not, or
So,
was handled in the right way or not.
so were you the part of the ML team? Like,
Yes, yes. So that it was the analytics team, data analytics team,
okay.
and when we started data analytics there, initially it was more about building dashboards, doing
That,
automation, data
okay.
handling huge amount of data. Because for auditors, in their traditional way of auditing, they just take sample. Okay,
Yeah.
just 30 records they pick from the total population and they perform the audit. With data analytics coming into the picture, they started focusing on the entire data set. So the initial ask was more around building dashboards, performing automations, doing a full data testing instead of sample data testing. So this was one classic example of how ML can help auditors. And ML was new at that point of time, and this was our
Yeah.
first use case.
So, like, what were the key skills, or what are the key skills for the students, like that they should, learn or acquire for their career in data
Okay.
science?
So I think in today's world, it has become much easier for people to acquire skills
Yes,
when it comes to
like
any
so many
technology.
courses.
So data science is not different. I think people are quite smart to know where trainings are available, which all institutions are good, or what all YouTube videos are good for them to get started on. So in terms of trainings, I think there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of places from where they can undergo training on data science. Some are free, some could be paid, doesn't matter. But the most important thing which I feel students should focus on is the application of those skills. When we look
Yes.
at candidates in the market, we have seen people coming from well-known institutions in the country, having undergone data science training, spending 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs there. But the basics are lacking,
Yes.
and they have never applied any of the things they have learned. They have learned Python, but application is at a very
Application.
minimal level.
Yes.
Okay, so they don't understand how to take what they have acquired, the skills they have acquired, and put those skills in action.
So
Okay,
I
try to
think
understand.
like after acquiring the skills, like working somewhere would be a better option to get that
Yes,
practical
yes.
application knowledge.
Yes, yes. And some
Okay.
of the projects I think which are available in the public domain, students think that I have done this project, maybe I am ready for the corporate world. That's
Yeah.
not true. Because those projects are academic in nature. You don't go through the real experience of how to develop some analytics. So their data set is in perfect form. You just push the data into the model, and the model will start giving you the
Yeah.
statistics whether the model can predict or not. And then you start using the model. You think that I have created a model, but in reality, 80%, 90% of your time will be spent on bringing data together, organizing data, well, trying to understand the quality aspect of it, and then you take the data for model. So
Yes.
that experience you get only when you are working on some real world problem. The academic world problem will start with a very clean data. Okay, you
Okay.
never think that data can have quality issues.
Yeah.
Forget about academic world, because of the way people have been dealing with data. People have been groomed on data technologies. People always start with an assumption that every data is good. Whatever data you give, they just start with the analytics without trying to understand what is the quality of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so real time experience is very important, and that real time experience should come from good place where projects are really happening with every aspect of data. So that is very important. So real time experience is key for any person to learn data science tools, techniques, and application part of it.
Okay, so like generally industries, have many job roles in data science field as well, and people get so confused. Even I do because I'm like really interested to get into data science. Like there are so many job roles, and can you like specify them if you know, like, or if your company is looking to hire some for some?
Okay. In the world of data, I see now three major roles.
Okay.
Data governance is something I will add as the fourth one. But apart from data governance, there are three major roles. One is that of data engineers. I think that's the role which is highly in demand. As I
Okay.
told, if you remember at the initial phase of our or initial stage of our discussion, at the initial part of our discussion, I was talking about that customer journey, or
Yes.
it could be any entity for that matter. It could be technology application journey, a server journey, or
Yes.
an employee journey, whatever. So all these journeys, as I told, are leading to data footprints which are all in silos. So the biggest effort is how do I bring everything together and put it in right kind of data infrastructure so that analytics community can use it for
Okay.
model building, for dashboarding.
Yes.
And this is where most of the companies are struggling right now. If you look at most of the companies' current data endeavor, most of them are in a phase where they're trying to move data into their data lake, data warehouse in cloud.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you are hearing about Snowflake data warehouse. You are hearing about Redshift in Amazon,
Yeah.
then Synapse in Azure, BigQuery. Okay, because the entire focus of organizations in the current world is to move data into right infrastructure so that analytics can happen. And who are the guys who are responsible for pushing this data into that infrastructure?
Data engineers.
The data engineers.
Okay.
So there is a huge demand for data engineers because most of the organizations are right now focused on that. So
Yeah.
once data is organized in an infrastructure, then starts the analytics journey. So in the first phase of analytics journey, we need a lot of people who don't have to be ML, ML machine learning model builder. They
Okay.
don't need to know a lot of AI stuff. they are responsible for taking whatever data have been organized well, inspecting the data, trying to make sense out of data. How does this data map to the business I'm working for?
Okay.
If there is a business question, can this data answer those questions? So they have to do a lot of exploratory, descriptive analytics of the data to understand the data better and
Yeah.
see what is the application or what is the usage of the data in business decision making. Okay, then these are the guys who are responsible to build dashboards.
Okay.
Or they need to have SQL as a key skill. They need to have Python as a key skill for data scrubbing, transformation, quality inspection, and they need to have visualization, analytics skills like Power BI, Tableau, where they can tell the story to the end user through a
Okay.
storytelling, compelling storytelling format. So that's the skill. And when it comes to data engineers, again, Python is used primarily, Python, Spark, SQL.
Okay.
Okay, but their worry is not how analytics is going to happen. Their worry is how to bring data and put it together in a nice
Okay.
structure. Okay,
Okay.
so that's, and I think in the data engineering space, they need to know, in today's world, they need to know cloud
Cloud.
really well.
Yeah.
Okay, so mostly all these data engineering efforts are happening on cloud platforms. So either they have
Mm.
to master GCP, BigQuery, they have to master Redshift, or they might have to master, let's say, Synapse or
Mm.
Snowflake. Okay, so that's data engineer. Then the above it is data analytics. Now comes data scientist.
Okay.
So these are the guys who are expected to actually put models in action. They're the guys who are expected to know mathematics much deeper. They
Yeah.
need to know, they need to know, or they need to have real knowledge of statistics.
Statistics,
Statistics, mathematics are
probability,
key apart from Python, storytelling
probability.
dashboard. Yes.
Yeah.
So they are, that's where the work starts to become complex.
Okay.
If you ask me, not everyone can become data scientists. We have to accept it.
Yeah.
And but what has happened in corporate world is a data scientist as a term has been abused a lot. Okay, for any kind of role in the space of data, data scientist has been used because that's how they have attracted talent.
Yeah.
People think that I can get into this space then. But in reality, they may not be doing the real data science work. They might be just building some basic dashboards. Okay, there is no, I'm not saying that is wrong because work is always evaluated based on the kind of impact they create.
Yes.
Okay, so building dashboard could be the biggest solution for a company when the company is struggling to
Yes.
take decision and you are talking about AI, ML models. It will not make any sense for the
Yeah.
organization. So for them, dashboard could be
Hmm.
the real solution.
Yeah.
So let's focus on building the right kind of dashboard. And when we are building dashboards, it's not just I'm just bringing metrics together and pushing it out to the business.
Okay.
Think about how I can make a story which is really compelling for the business to take decision on. So out of box thinking, how those metrics can talk to each other, how that
Mm.
story can be formed instead of just putting all the metrics on one dashboard. So it's not an easy job. It's actually highly creative compared to data science work. But data science work involves a lot of mathematics, a lot of statistics, ability to understand how models are working behind the scene, how they are working. You can just pass the data through some black box model, get output, and you start to think that I can build model. You can, but in real world solution, you will be questioning how this model is working. Can
Yeah.
you answer it? Can you explain the model? So that's where data scientist comes into picture. And again, data science, that layer is also getting specialized. You have people with title like NLP scientist. So their
Okay.
focus is natural language processing, primarily natural language processing
Yeah.
problems. Okay, so some people become, let's say, image scientists, video analytics experts. So I mean that domain is getting, or that layer is getting specialized
Okay.
with variety of new roles. So
Okay.
that's typically what I see in the world of data, the roles and the kind of responsibilities each role has. That's how I look at it. And data governance, I think that's again started taking some significance. As I told, data is a liability, so they have to
Mhm.
manage liability well. So in data governance, you have people like data stewards. Okay, you have create if your data is asset, you need a steward to ensure that your asset is managed well. Okay, if I have to, off late, I have started giving this example. If data is asset, can you tell me what is the value of that asset? Until and unless you don't tell me the value of the asset, I don't know how
Yeah.
much
It's just
valuable.
data.
Yeah, it could so happen that I say that Nariman Point in Mumbai is the most expensive place in the country, or could be one of the most expensive places in the world.
Yeah.
Uh, then any plot any piece of plot in the Nariman Point, Mumbai, let's say a small plot of 1,000 square feet, as per the current market standards, is 20 crore, 25 crore. I don't know. I'm just putting some random number there. Let's say 25 crore. But can you say that every piece of land there should command 25 crore?
No.
Never know. There could be a piece of land which doesn't have any access road.
Yeah.
It has been encircled by other plots, and you cannot reach that land. It's almost as it's a bad asset for you. Okay, so similarly in the space of data, how do we understand what is the value of the asset? We don't know. There is a big struggle. We just think that, yeah, I'm using this data for these two use cases, so it's valuable. But if I ask, can you quantify it on a score of 1 to 100? Nobody has an answer. Okay, so that's why data governance is becoming important. How do you understand what is the value in the data? That's why data stewards are coming into picture. If I am the steward of this data, I should know what is the value of this data. I should quantify the value. Then only others will believe in that data and they will start using it. So data steward is becoming one more role in the world of data, which people are not aware of at this stage. Only people who are in the world of data governance, they know it. And then you have data quality analysts. That also is the key role. They are responsible to analyze the data from quality perspective and ensure that the quality of data is improving every time, every day, so that it is more usable. Okay, so as I told, asset and quality of asset.
Yeah.
That's important. So data quality analysts are responsible for that. Then you have data governance lead and all those roles, primarily responsible for managing data as liability.
So I think that like as a fresher, we can't really, get into a data scientist role just at the very beginning. Like we need some years of experience before, becoming the data scientist.
Agree, but it all depends. If the person is getting that experience while he's studying, PhD studying. Because I have some examples of people from my college. They started their data science journey while they were in second year, third year of their engineering. So by the time that guy passed out, he was a data scientist. Nobody can question that he's not.
Yeah.
So it all depends when you start.
What do companies look like? What do companies look in the candidate? Like what are they looking for? Are they looking for projects? Because a lot of people have done that same recommendation system project or same similar kind. So how to stand out for during job interviews or anything?
I think if general projects which anybody and everybody is doing, I think we should try to stay away from those projects when we are trying to highlight those in our resume.
Yeah.
You can work, you have to work, you need to get started, and that could be the easiest thing to get started on.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your resume preparation, try to stay away from those projects. Try to mention those projects which bring some uniqueness in your data science profile or whatever profile you're trying to project to the market. So there, I think there are a lot of use cases which students can create themselves. With so much of public data available. If I have to give one example, we have built a product or a platform called Bank Story, and it's taking all public data. There is so much of data about each and every Indian bank in the public domain. Anybody can take that data, perform some analytics, build some models, and put those models in action. Keep monitoring it, and put that experience on your resume rather than just adding the recommendation engine which everyone is adding. Add that project because people would be curious to know what is that you have done in that project. And when you start explaining that this is what I did, this is the data I took, how I used my creative juice to bring that insights out, that will make the other person feel, yeah, you have done something commendable. It's very different. Okay, complexity of the model won't be there, may not be there, but the value delivery will be much higher. The impact of the work will be much higher, which they can see.
Okay. So yeah, like as you said, the use cases. So going back to the use cases, how did you use in the cybersecurity domain? I'm really curious about that.
Okay. So in the world of cybersecurity, there is a function called data loss prevention, DLP.
Yeah.
Okay, and this function is responsible to ensure that people are not sending proprietary confidential data outside the organization. When it comes to big organizations, their competitive edge is all because of the data, all because of the IP models, business models, algorithms, which they are running, which they have in the organization. If employees start to share those things out, then it's detrimental for the company. So
Yeah.
every organization, big organizations primarily, they they would have a cybersecurity department to ensure that everything is protected. And within the cybersecurity department, they have a specialized group called data loss prevention group. And
Okay.
that group job is to ensure that data is not getting leaked out,
Okay.
okay, via email. And what in our when we started working for the cybersecurity department, we realized that this DLP, if something is going out, it becomes an incident. As I was telling about technology incident, this is security incident. If
Okay.
something has gone out of the organization or someone was trying, it might not have gone out. It might have been blocked. Obviously, it will get blocked. They have invested so much on tools and technologies. They
Yeah.
will block it. But someone was intentionally trying to send something out. So that
Okay.
will get raised as an incident. And that incident will come to the cybersecurity analyst. They have to analyze the incident. What is the real impact of this document going out? What could have happened to the organization?
Yeah.
Whether it was intentional, unintentional.
Hmm.
Okay. And based on that, they take action. Okay.
Okay.
And we understood that they do all this incident analysis. So many incidents have been captured, the incident analysis happens, but they don't try to understand, are there any patterns? Okay,
Okay.
is it that one specific department within the organization is seeing most number of DLP incidents? A lot of employees from that department are trying to send documents out. It could be so that that's the group which is working on a super critical project of the
Yeah.
company at this point of time. Is it that we see documents going out from a section of people who are very less experienced? They just joined the organization. Within 1 month, 2 months, they started sharing the document out. So there are patterns. Problem is, if you don't take the data and
Hmm.
try to uncover those patterns, you just take tactical approach. You just take one incident at a time, resolve it.
Hmm.
Okay, second incident, resolve it. But if you identify the pattern, you discover the pattern, then you can put in place a strategic solution.
Okay.
So that's where we came out with the concept of leadership culture index. So
Okay.
we what we did was all these people who are sharing data out, all those incidents that have happened in the past, we
Yeah.
took those data and we summarized all those people who have sent their document outside under leaders. So leaders can be CEO minus one, CEO minus two. So CEO minus two, his organization. How many
Hmm.
people have been have sent something out? Some
Okay.
incidents have happened with respect to
Okay.
leader two. How many such incidents have happened? So we started looking at each leader at a time, and within each leader organization, we started looking at, is it abnormally high? This leader had let's say 20% of the people sending documents out, while the other leader had just 5% of the employees sending documents out.
Hmm.
We see that leader one, this DLP kind of incidents are rampant. It's happening across the board in all the locations. This leader has teams in India,
Okay.
US, Canada, China, Taiwan, and everywhere we see a lot of such incidents. While in case of leader two, we don't see that much.
Yeah.
It's localized. Maybe in one location, couple of incidents have happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Third thing, we saw that the training data. There are a lot of mandatory trainings which happen once you join the corporate world. You will see, and one of the mandatory trainings will be in the world of cybersecurity.
Okay.
Okay, and we see that in the leader one organization, mandatory trainings with respect to cybersecurity are completed on time or before time. Okay, sorry, the other way around. Leader one organization is not completing trainings on time, while leader two
Is
people are
completing.
completing trainings on time. So we took all these factors, a bunch of factors we took together, and we created an index which will depict what kind of culture is prevailing within that organization in terms of data
Okay.
protection. So when we take this culture index to the top leadership, they know that yeah, incidents, obviously there will be a tactical approach that incident will get closed, but they will see that this leader is unable to drive the kind of culture that is expected to be driven by the organization. Then they go down. Is it happening across the board? If so, if not, then who are the managers
Yeah.
where it is happening most?
Yeah.
And within that manager, who are the guys? What is the persona of people who are doing it? What is the profile of the people who are doing it? So that way you know that new employees with less experience from a particular project, they are primarily doing, or they have started doing it. So then you do a very customized session, training session with them to make them aware of the repercussion, what could go wrong, what could happen to their job in the organization, make them cognizant of the incidents that are getting reported. So that way you are putting a strategic solution in place rather than just handling one incident at a time. So leadership culture index was something which we proposed as an index to be built, and it was an outcome of data science model. So that's an example of cybersecurity use case.
Okay. Wow. Like, I'm really curious about one thing though, about data collection. Like, you talked about how you collected the data, like for the other use case as well. So that data collection part, it's not in the open, obviously. Uh, so what's the inside thing that's happening? Like, how do you get it? Do you pay money for it? Like, no. Like, I know something in the finance sector, like especially the stock market. So we pay money for it to get the data and analyze it, like the top level data or something.
So you're talking about as an investor, you can, or as a trader, you can pay money and get data, and the data which you are buying, it's available to anyone.
Yeah.
And everyone, anyone can buy. But when it comes to corporate world, you cannot buy. So you have to be part of that organization to use the data, and you have to be part of the right department to use the data.
Okay.
When within our organization, everyone will not have access to every data.
Yeah.
We're very protective about the data. So when we try to collect data, as I told at the beginning of the session, we always try to take that entity approach. If I'm taking the entity approach, I know the kind of data footprint that entity would have left behind.
Yeah.
When I was talking about this leadership culture index, the same thing. If we have to capture training data, where it is. If I take employee journey, employee life cycle, then where is the training data? Training data would be residing in some HR system. Incident data is in, let's say, Splunk, a cybersecurity system. Okay. His joining date, his title in the organization, his experience in the organization, that is part of some other HR system.
Okay.
Okay. So when we try to do that entity life cycle, we understand that these are the various pages, and this page data would be somewhere stored in the organization. I may not, when I start that journey, I don't know where that system is, okay, whether I can get it or not. But theoretically, I need to come out with that life cycle. And theoretically, I need to understand there is a data system somewhere in the organization. Once that is done, then the data hunting process starts. Okay, then you know that, yeah, this is the data. Training data is what I need.
Okay.
First.
And all this
So
is
you
a part of data engineer role. Like
then you start reaching out to people, right people, to understand where is the training data, can I get access. It may so happen that you have identified 10 data sets which you need for your final model to be built, but you realize that in your current role, in the organization, you cannot access 3 out of 7.
Okay.
7 you can get, you have identified those 7, but 3 you cannot get because the permission is not there. That is considered super confidential for you also.
Yeah.
So then, but you have to manage your model with 7 data. Unless you are able to get those, you have to manage with the 7 data. So once you have identified those 7 data, then you need to create data pipelines. Okay, through which you need to bring a copy of the data into your analytics mart, because you are building your customer 360 in your analytics mart. So you need to create that data pipe which will push the data, that copy of the data, into your mart. Okay. And once you organize the data in your mart, then you start building models or perform analytics, build dashboards.
Okay. Okay. Got it. That was really, like, you gave so much of clarity. Are you hello?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So sorry, I take permission. So Shubha Prasad Mohanty is saying that great session, so much to learn, and taking analytics to another level. Never thought of these aspects. So yeah, like neither did I. I mean, the use cases are like super amazing. I mean, I wasn't aware about the length and breadth data science has spread to. So, what are the other use cases that are, like, can we cover that in one?
Okay, I will give one more example of airport. Okay, and we were doing this innovation exercise, as I told, that entity life cycle. That's actually our own proprietary framework. We have a data innovation framework which we use on variety of data.
Okay.
So what we say is that business doesn't have to come and give us a use case.
Okay.
Otherwise, in most of the data science functions, data science organization, they expect client to give you one use case and you start working on it.
Yeah.
But we say that you don't have to. If you have use case, you give, we will work on it. But even if you don't have use case, we will take your data through our data innovation framework and we will tell what are the possibilities.
Okay. So that's
And
the
since it
work
is
of data IQ, ByteIQ. Sorry.
that's the work of ByteIQ that we
Okay.
call as data innovation.
Okay.
And since it is an outcome of innovation, mostly whatever we come out with will be unique for that company or for that industry also.
Yeah.
So possibility of having an intellectual property right on that product or that solution will be also very, very high for the organization.
Yeah.
So in the same framework, we extended to airport and we identified one entity because in airport you can have passenger as an entity.
Yeah.
Airlines also can be an entity. You can design airlines life cycle.
Or
So we
food.
identified
Yeah.
retail outlets as the entity.
Okay.
Retail outlets are basically those outlets which operate out of the airport terminal. You may see
Okay.
MACD, you may see KFC, you may see Cafe Coffee Day, some clothing stores, book stores. These are the retail outlets. So we considered those retail outlets as the entity of choice for that data innovation exercise. And we created retail outlet life cycle within the terminal.
Okay.
They will get onboarded on a day. The space that is getting allocated to them, they will start operating out of that space. Customers will visit to those outlets. Transactions will start to happen. Customer will give bad feedback, good feedback about that outlet. Even outlet will have some feedback about the airport. Maybe AC was not working properly, lighting system is not appropriate, and then they may scale up their business within the terminal. They may extend their space, add more things, or they may exit. At one point, they may exit. So this is the life cycle of retail outlet. So we designed the life cycle of retail outlet. Then we started collecting data and created a retail 360,
Okay.
where all the transactions data is there, all the feedback data is there, everything, and all the reference data, the space size and whatnot. And we came out with the concept of blind spot discovery. And our theory was it's based on the transactions data. By looking at transactions data, we saw that certain pockets within the terminals are not seeing the kind of business they should ideally see.
Okay.
Okay, but when a retail outlet is taking a space within the terminal, they feel or they are of the opinion, as well as airport is of the opinion, that they have equal chance to make money.
Yeah.
Every outlet has equal chance to make good money.
Money. Yeah.
But certain pockets were not making money. And when we go to their feedback data, it's not that they have bad feedback. Whatever customers have visited, they have given quite good feedback. And the brand is known. There is no question around the business model. There is no question around the quality of service. Everything is good about that retail outlet, but that outlet is not seeing business, the kind of business ideally it should have seen. And the other thing is not only that outlet, the outlet which are in the neighborhood, let's say 4 or 5 outlet, they are not able to see the kind of business ideally they should have seen. So
Yeah.
these are basically the blind spots which we discovered through transactions data.
Okay.
Okay, that these are the clusters where business level is not up to the expectation.
Okay.
Now, when these clusters have been identified, then the business can intervene and understand what is really going on. And when they go inside to understand what is happening on the ground, they may see that okay, the way the airport has been structured inside,
Yeah.
not many people will walk past those outlets because there is no gate on the way. So, gate, person is going to reach, which they have to reach, and these outlets are on the way. So that kind of thing was not there for certain clusters of outlets. So these outlets were always getting excluded from a customer's or a flyer's journey within the terminal.
Yeah.
So these became blind spots. And now what airport can do? Airport can rejig the inside infrastructure so that they make people go walk past those outlets, and then business will start to go up. So that's one use case of airport, which we named it as blind spot discovery for retail outlets.
Okay. Wow. ByteIQ is currently looking to hire a few interns. I'm like we talked, and I'll be releasing the form in my description, so the interested people can apply to it, and yeah, like I hope that you get good resumes to look at, so that you can hire people who can work for the data innovation framework, like you said.
Yeah, yeah. I think I would thank you for that idea. You proposed that yesterday, and I liked it because if I'm talking to people, I don't know how many have joined, but I'm hoping that some of our potential uh,
Yeah,
candidate.
interested people stayed. Let's just say that.
Okay, so if they
We
have
have
joined, then
nine
I thought,
people right now. Yeah.
okay. So I thought it could be a good opportunity if we can find some people from the group who would be interested in pursuing some kind of engagement with us as an intern or as a full time, because we are continuously looking at a pool of good talent.
Yeah.
We are in need of good talent, and what I can assure you is the quality of work which we bring to the table. It would be awesome learning for whoever is coming on board.
Definitely.
So I think all the people we have brought on board, they have become productive maybe within first 2 weeks. So even all our interns are working in billable client projects, solving real world problems from first week of their joining.
Yes.
So that is something we can assure to people who are interested in ByteIQ. They can go and register themselves, and we
Yeah.
can review their profile, and we can have further discussion with them.
Yes, I have just updated the description. You can check the link in the description below with the name like apply here, and I have added the link. So Preeti Dubey is saying that informative session, not only analytics and innovation, got to know so much about so many domains as well as audit and cybersecurity. So yeah, like I think that people who are interested, who are actually interested in data science would have stayed and gone through all the like all the topics that we have talked about, we have covered in this span of time. And yeah, like I am so like as I said, I'm so honored to have you. It was a great session. And do you want to share anything else? Have I missed any point that you would like to cover, or should we end our session here today?
I think we covered a lot of points. There are a lot
Yes.
of other use cases
Yes.
to be shared or discussed, but yeah, in the interest of time, I think whatever we spoke so far should be quite a lot for people to digest and relate
Definitely.
to those use cases in the world of business. So yeah, I think it was a good experience for me. I think first of its kind for me also, and I hope people got benefited. If they can take away a few things from this session, I will be happy. If they can use it in their day-to-day life, in their working style, then
Yeah.
I think this was a fruitful session for me.
Yes. That I'm sure that it was a fruitful session even for me. So yeah, like thank you so much guys for joining us today, and hope you found the link in the description. And feel free to apply if you have the required technicalities. And yeah, thank you so much Arya for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Niril. Thanks for
Bye.
inviting me, and have a good day.
You too. You too. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.